Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast. And in today's episode we're going to be looking at the top 5 Death Guard combos. These are units that basically can be fit into any army, any list and at any level of play, from brand new beginner all the way up to top competitive level, that will bring home some results for you. Now it's not going to be the craziest selection, it's not going to be, there's plenty more, don't get me wrong, than just these 5, but these are 5 staple units or unit selections or unit combos or very important units, and how they play with each other, and also the impact they have on the game. And then we'll look at some of the best attachments for each one to sort of take it to that next level. So I hope you guys enjoy this. We'll get straight into it. But again, if you do enjoy the content, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe, or consider becoming a Plague Marine member. You get access to our Discord, giveaways, blight surgery channel, all that sort of good stuff. So give it a consider. It's only $2.99 a month. But yeah, before we get any more, let's go and get into this. It's back. It had to be back. It had to come back. Plague Bus 2 Electric Boogaloo. For those who don't know, the Plague Bus was a DRP invention in the previous index, and it is back, and it is as punchy as ever, and if not even more so. So what is the Plague Bus? The core units for the Plague Bus are a Rhino and 2 Malignant Plaguecasters. And then you can optionally bring along some Plague Marines and maybe some Foul Blight Spawns to swap out for the Plaguecasters. But the idea is we're going to turn the humble Rhino into a Land Raider Redeemer from Temu, or from Wish.com, whatever you want to say. So, how does this even work? Well, let's get into it. So, the Rhino is obviously, it's a utility vehicle, it's a transport. It has access to firing deck 2, which means that 2 of your models that are inside the transport can fire out of the vehicle as if it was the vehicle shooting itself. Not only that, the Rhino then also has the potential to give anything that is disemboweled that turn 4 rolls to wound. Pretty cool. So Plaguecasters. Each Plaguecaster has a D6 plus 3 auto hitting because of Torrent, Strength 6, AP2, D3 damage flame weapon, Psychic Flamer. Now, you can easily get this to AP3 with the -1 save contagion, and these things can indeed be shot out of the firing deck on the Rhino. So now your Rhino can move 12 and shoot 2d6 plus 6 shots that automatically hit, wound Marines on 2s if you're in contagion, at AP3 giving them a 6-up save most of the time, at D3 damage a pop. That is a deadly little Rhino at that point. He's a very, very nasty little Rhino. And now, the great thing is, it's not the only thing that comes from this. Basically, there's obviously the bolters and whatnot on the Rhino as well, let's not forget that. But these guys can be in this Rhino attached to squads, or solo, which means this Rhino can drive up to an objective, drop out 5 Marines onto the objective to flip it with OC, and then the Rhino can flame off an entire unit that was trying to approach. Now, what makes this good is when your opponent comes to do a bit of a swing back on it and sort of punish you, they have to choose between shooting the Rhino, which is carrying all the guys inside, which is, let's be honest, the real threat is the Plaguecasters, or you have to kill the guys that are holding the objective. So you can put them in a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Not also that, but whereas normally if you kill something like a Predator, it's dead and its firepower's gone. The firepower isn't the Rhino is the shell for the firepower. So even if they kill the Rhino, there's still 2 Plaguecasters they then have to individually kill each, which isn't the hardest thing, but it just means if the Rhino does go down, you haven't actually lost the output. Now, bear in mind, if you really need it, you can stroll up to something with your Rhino, disembark the guys, the Plaguecasters, shoot with the Rhino first, and now both of those flamers from the casters can have full rerolls to wound as well with their shooting attacks. So this actually makes them fairly efficient into vehicles. Because of the strength 6, you get anything in contagion range. The highest you're going to see is T12. There are a few T13 things, hello Great Unclean One, but that's not the most common. And even T12 in Contagion goes to T11, so Strength 6 wounds on 5s. So worst case scenario, you wound most vehicles in the game, and monsters, on 5s. But then the Rhino gives them 4 rolls to wound, which puts them actually between somewhere in the 3 to 4 range of needing to wound something. So you can quite easily put about, 8 wounds on a tank. On a tank with a flamer at AP3 and D3 damage each, and if you roll average and get 2 damage on each of them, and they fail like 6 of the saves, that's like 12 damage on a vehicle. Like, what the hell? It's really good. Not to mention these guys also have a bit of a utility slowing effect. Anyone you shoot is obviously then slowed. And if you have brought Plague Marines on, you can join them in the squads, that's fine. Because then they're also going to give that squad the sustained hits ability, which is really good. Now, not to mention, again, let's talk about Plague Marines real quickly. They make incredible trading units. They also bring 10 OC in a 5-man squad and tons of special weapons, more than they have any right to for the points cost. So having Marines in the Rhino alongside this gives you this nice utility package where you can drive up, shoot your flamers, kill a unit, drop out 5 guys. They can do an action or score primary, get your points up, or they can even just hop out, shoot a melter gun, throw a grenade. All sorts of little plays can be made from a Plague Bus, which I really, really enjoy. So what are the best attachments, though, to take Plague Bus to the next level? Virulent Vectorum is fantastic. Overwhelming Generosity Stratagem requires a character to see a target. Well, if you have a Demon Prince or a Lord of Virulence to spot, you can use this stratagem. You can also just get out one of the Plaguecasters because they're characters, so he can get out and use this himself. And it means that whatever target you pick, your entire army gets to reroll the shot amounts. So, you know how that Rhino was rocking those 2d6 plus 6-shot flamers from the Playcasters? Well, now, if you roll a 1 on those shots, you can just reroll it. If you roll double 1, you can reroll both. So you're going to guarantee you get a good amount of shots off, which makes them a lot more reliable. Not to mention, sticky objectives in Virulent Vectorum are also really good because it gives you the ability for this Rhino to move up, drop 5 guys off, flame off the guys on the unit. If your opponent doesn't deal with it, you can sticky the point, hop back in the Rhino, drive to the next point, flame that guy off. You can see how it kind of like escalates from there. So the potential in Virulent Vectorum is actually a little bit higher than usual because it gives you the consistency on the shots and the ability to clear point, sticky it, and move on. Now, let's not forget we've also got Mortarian's Hammer. Relentless Grind stratagem lets you move through walls. You know what's scarier than a Plague Bus? A Plague Bus that can bust through a wall at any point. Move 12, and then, oh wait, if we want to, we can pay another command point and give it Assault. So we've got 18 potential inch moving Plague Bus, which can bust through walls to flame the shit out of you. That is horrific. You thought you were safe behind that middle L? Boom comes a Plague Bus through, drives clean through the wall, onto the other side, shoots you with 2d6 plus 6 shot, strength 6, AP 3, D3 damage flamers, whilst also dropping out some Marines to shoot you or grenade you or whatever they need to do. It can take a lot of people by surprise. And if you really want to spice it up, you can also put Shriekworm Familiar on one of these Playcasters, so you can drive up, hop them out, shoot with a Rhino to give the Playcasters rerolls to wound. They both shoot 2d6 plus 6 shots, rerolling all wounds because of the Rhino. And then the second your opponent tries to move in their next turn, one of them can then drop a 3 Overwatch for another d6 plus 3 auto hitting shots. Just really good control, really powerful torrent weapon, and deals a lot of damage. So what are the pros? It's versatile. This unit is fantastic. It's got good offensive and mission play. You can leave the Marines at home and just have a Plague Bus with just casters and use it as a portable little flame tank. It's really good for that. You can still obviously drop a guy out and do an action. You can just drop out, one Plague Caster to do an action. Next turn, if he's still there, you can just hop back in the Rhino. No issue there. You're in the corner with this Rhino and you get containment. Cool. Drop one Plague Caster there. He does one containment. Drop the other one there. He does another containment. Excellent. I think containment is not even a thing anymore, but you get the point. Recover assets, cleanse, whatever you want to do. There's loads of things you can do. Not to mention the mission play you can do with Plague Marines in there, because now they can get out. Now you can contest primary, deny your opponent's primary, whilst also packing a surprising amount of damage in this bus. No one expects a Rhino to wipe their elite squad of infantry out, but it's so funny when you do it. It's so funny. It's also detachment agnostic. It works genuinely anywhere. Turns out Plague Marines plus Rhino equal good in any detachment. So it's just a generically good unit anyway, and you can take it to the next level, but having a Plague Bus in your list is just fun. It's a fun and powerful unit that you will always get some use out of. Now, let's also forget, it also has a ton of tricks and synergies. You can do null deployment tricks. Null deployment is where basically you try to waste as many drops deploying to make your opponent have to put down more units so you get more information. If your opponent's not going to turn one charge you and they don't have indirect, put the Rhino down with a single Playcaster inside it, or the Marines inside it. Then deploy one Playcaster right next to the Rhino. Then the opponent has to put something down as well. Second Playcaster right next to the Rhino. Go ahead, opponent, put something down. I've just got 2-3 drops of information out of my opponent, because all those playcasters are going to do is embark first turn, and it was going to do what it was going to do anyway. So you can null deploy. It can also drop off Marines who can chuck a grenade, and then the Rhino can charge and do tank shock as well. So now you've got a load of mortal wound potential from this. It's also an incredibly hard transport to wrap, because, oh no, you wrapped my transport. I will just shoot these 2d6 plus 6, strength 6, AP 3, D3 damage, auto-hitting flamers out of the firing deck and kill you and get myself free. It's a fantastically fun unit. I love playing Plague Bus, and it's only gone from strength to strength. So if you haven't tried out the Plague Bus at least once, give it a whirl. It's always a fun unit, and I genuinely think it's still a very, very powerful unit. So next up, we've got the back in the bus lads strategy. So to do this, we're looking at bringing along Mortarion, any form of transport, and any form of infantry that can ride in those transports. And the plan is we're going to reactively re-embark to protect and hide our unit. So how it works. Mortarion has an ability called Lord of the Death Guard. It gives you 3 options to use certain plays every turn. One of them being that when your opponent finishes a move within 9 inches of any friendly Death Guard within 6 inches of Mortarion, they can make a reactive move of 5 inches. Now, interestingly, transports, a unit can embark a transport whenever it finishes a normal move wholly within 3 of that transport. Well, every model has to be within 3 of that transport. Now, this reactive move states it is a normal move of 5 inches, which means in your opponent's turn, if they walk near you, you can reactive move 5 inches, finish within 3 inches of your Rhino, and in your opponent's turn, embark inside the Rhino or the Land Raider or whatever it is you want to do, because you are finishing a normal move. So the combo is pretty straightforward. You hop out within 8 inches of your transport. So your transport's behind a wall. Your Marines can get out, hop over the other side of the wall, shoot everything at a squad, kill a squad to death, or, you know, they can charge a squad that's nearby, and you kill it. Your opponent's turn, they move anything within 9 inches of those Plague Marines. You go, I'm going to use Mortarion's ability, picking those Plague Marines. Those Plague Marines reactive move back 5 inches within 3 inches of the transport, why we had to stay within 8 inches. And then you go, cool, I'm going to embark within it. So you can literally hop out of a transport, over a wall, shoot something, and then because your opponent had the audacity to try and move anywhere near you, you then hop back in the transport, which is hidden behind the wall, and then you repeat this ad infinitum. It's really good, and it makes your opponent has to deal with it, which is an awful situation to be in. Now, let's think about best attachments again. So, again, Virulent Vectorum comes into its strength here, because if you ever get a sticky objective off, your opponent cannot shoot you off an objective, which means they have to put a model onto the objective to take it off you, which means you know they have to move near this objective to take it off you. And if they have to move near it, you know they're going to trigger that reactive move, which means you know you can get back inside your transport. Now, don't worry, this works on, like, you can have a Land Raider drive up, drop out Death Shroud, they charge something, they kill it. As long as they remain 8 inches within the Land Raider's range, the second anything moves, and they're obviously within Mortarion range, they hop back in the Land Raider. It's so good. It's so good. Now, Flyblown Host can also use tricks with the 6-inch Consolidate and Pile-In. You can, you know, charge further away than usual as long as you put your transport on the objective. You can kill whatever squad it is you wanted, and then you can consolidate 6 inches back towards the objective, which is where your transport is, which will then allow you to be safe to be able to reactive move to re-embark within the 8 inches of the transport. So you can use that 6-inch consolidate to go forward, kill a unit, come back towards the objective with your consolidate, which then gets you back within 8 inches of your transport, ready to make that reactive move. And in Mortarion's Hammer, this can get even funnier, because if opponent comes to charge you, you can reactive move 5 away. So you can screen them, reactive move 5 backwards, get inside the transport that was 8 inches away. So now there's at least 9 inches between you and the opponent, because the opponent has to stay 1 inch away from your Plague Marines, who are 8 inches away from a transport. So they reactive move into the transport, and then when your opponent has to make their 9-inch charge into your transport, you hit them with the -2 to charge stratagem and go, cool, make an 11-inch charge, get bent. It's really good, the little combos you can do with this. the little combos with just re-embarking, again, to dodge line of sights, to get to safety, to be able to re-embark. And again, if you re-embark and you're in a rhino, that means the next turn you can disembark and benefit from the rhino to reroll all wounds again, because you can disembark again in your own turn. Loads and loads of good little tricks you can do with this. But again, the idea is that we're using Mortarion's reactive move to be able to get out of a bus, do something. When the opponent walks near, we move back towards the bus and get back in for safety. So what makes it so good? Board control. The only counterplay to this is to stay away from it. You can't move within 9 of the unit, because if you do, it's going to react to you and get back in that transport. But at the same time, your opponent can't just keep letting you do it, because you can't keep letting 10 Plague Marines hop out of a Rhino, shoot the shit out of you, and then hop back to safety every turn. Like, they have to get aggressive, they have to do something, so it forces a response which you can then punish. And it's great, because if you want to punish it, there's a Mortarion within 6 inches of all this that's going on, who's more than happy to get stuck into a fight. It works really well on dense boards. If you play WTC, for example, super easy to hide a Rhino behind a wall or behind a plate of a terrain somewhere it can't get shot. Super easy to go over the terrain or stand on it, shoot through, deal some damage, and then when your opponent tries to walk anywhere near you, your active move, embark in the transport's now behind obscuring terrain, can't get shot. Fantastic. And again, it's also just great for anti-melee. Melee armies either risk a 9-inch charge, or they have to come within 9. And it turns out melee has to be close to do melee. So when melee come close, you reactive move. Guaranteed. So it's really hard to deal with, because you put that squad out there, the opponent tries to capitalize and go for a charge on them, then you just reactive move into a vehicle, and then boom, like you're inside. And again, you can play Mortarion's Hammer, hit him with a -2 to charge, or have the transport near Mortarion, so if they then try to charge the transport, Mortarion can heroic intervention. So many little good things that you can do with this. If you've not tried it yet, give it a whirl. You will frustrate the ever-loving daylights out of your opponent, because you're constantly going to be paranoid that you are going to reactive move into a transport and ruin their day. It's really, really good. Lord Smashface. It had to be Lord Smashface. What is Lord Smashface? Lord Smashface is the classic Lord of Contagion with Death Shroud Terminators. I know it's not exactly the most mind-blowing combo, but it's a unit that should pretty much be in absolutely every list. And we're going to talk about how we tune it up to the next level and what makes it so good. So, I mean, the Lord of Contagion himself is incredibly powerful. He's 5 attacks at Strength 9, AP 2, 3 in Contagion, flat 3 damage. He's also lethal hits like everything else. He also has a grenade keyword, don't forget that. And he has sustained hits and lance, and he gives that to the entire squad when he's leading them. And the first time he dies, he gets back up on a 2-up. That's already bonkers. You then combine him with Death Shroud Terminators, which allow you to deep strike 6 inches away from afflicted units, which means you can charge 6 inches on the turn you drop, and they will be benefiting from the sustained hits and lance that he gives them. And they also provide him with a 4-up Feel No Pain. Now this is important because precision exists, but it also, if a unit, a single unit, so a unit of like, I don't know, something stupid like 6 Sanguinary Guard and Dante, charge you and they kill all of your Death Shroud in the same activation, and then wounds go on the Lord will still have the 4-up Feel No Pain, because at the start of their attack sequence, the Death Shroud bodyguard were alive, which means he still has the rule for the 4-up Feel No Pain. So it can actually be very hard to one-turn the entire squad, because you've got to get through the Death Shroud first, and then a 4-up Feel No Pain if you're just going in with one unit, which is very, very scary. And they're a staple of Death Guard list. They literally, you arrive 6 inches away, you point, and you click and you delete most things you touch. This squad hits super hard with lethal sustained lance. And again, it's all minimum strength 8, AP 2, 3 in Contagion if you play -1 save, and 2 damage. And he's strength 9 with 3 damage. But how do we tune this up to the next level? Let's talk about best detachments again. Virulent Vectorum has amazing damage increase enhancements for your Lord of Contagion. Demon Weapon of Nurgle gives him crit 5, so he scores crits on 5s. This means every 5-up he rolls, he's going to proc not only a lethal, but also a sustained, because he's giving the squad sustained. So every 5-up, you get to auto wound and get an extra attack. Really, really powerful and dirt cheap. You've also got Furnace of Plagues, which gives him +1 strength, which takes him to strength 10, which is huge because a lot of vehicles in the game are T10. They go down to T9 when you're near them. Now you wound them on 3s, but you've also got Lance for +1 to wound. Now you wound tanks on 2s. You hit on 2s, sustained lethal, and then wound on 2s. And this is also going to give you an extra attack, so you have 6 attacks and dev wounds. You will twat anything you come across. You're going to bonk it so hard it goes to the next life. Like I've had this guy with 3 Death Shroud kill a Night Crusader from full. Just like bop, gone, later mate. Super powerful. These enhancements really take the Lord of the Contagion to the next level. Now we've also got Death Lord's Chosen. Once per game, uppy downy Warp Rot Talisman. If you go second in the game, you can pick up your unit on turn 1, if it's on the board, and deep strike it in your own turn 1, because it hasn't started the game in reserves, so it doesn't have to follow the turn 2 limit for deep strike. Not only that, you can deep strike down normally on turn 2 within 6 inches, charge something, obliterate it, and then know that unit's not stuck there. If your opponent doesn't deal with them, you're going to pick them up, and then you can move them to the entire other side of the board, drop in there, 6-inch charge, smash something again, and you know you can make silly deep strikes with the first drop because you can always reposition later. Again, you can even just keep them down, do a 6-inch charge, keep them there, do another charge next turn. Okay, now everything that was in a 12-inch radius of me is dead. Now I'll pick them up on turn 4 or turn 5 and go take your home objective. It's really, really good. They also have stratagem to give themselves reroll all hit rolls against anything that's not a monster and vehicle. And again, combined with the sustained hits, it means the Lord can potentially fish for sustained hits if they want. Especially with the sweep. The sweep hits on 3, so being able to reroll all the 1s and 2s just makes it a lot more consistent. Reroll all hits is just good in general. And they have the ability to do impact mortal wounds. So if you come across something with a stupid annoying invuln, like a Drakari Archon with a 2-up invulnerable, you can drop in within 6, use the grenade strat because the Lord of Contagion has grenades, and if you're a deep strike 6, grenades is 8-inch range, so you can grenade, and then you can charge and do impact mortals and go, cool, that 2-up invulnerable was real cute, yeah, die. So you can just smash them to pieces. Then you got Champions of Contagion, which is potentially the craziest output increase because you're not just increasing the Lord's output, you're increasing them all by giving the entire squad, the 3-man or the 6-man, plus the Lord, crit 5s for 1 command point on demand. That means the entire squad is going to be hitting on 2s, crit 5s, lethal sustained. That is bonkers damage output, and if you roll a little good on those 5s and 6s, you will kill anything. And it gets even crazier on the sweep because you're going to have double the amount of dice to roll, which means even more 5s incoming. So much damage comes out of this squad when you play this stratagem. And if you really want something guaranteed put in the dirt for another 2 command points, you can give the squad reroll all hits and wounds versus a target that's lost at least 1 model or health. If you ever combine them, dear God, you will kill God. Like, crit 5s rerolling all hits and wounds, sustained lethal, like nothing survives that. Literally, if it's a 6-man especially, nothing survives that. Super, super powerful stratagems in Champions of Contagion to really take the damage of this unit to the next level. So, what are the pros of this unit? Well, it's kind of nearly impossible to lose value. You pretty much always get the charge because you're just going to drop within 6 and then charge 6 inches, so you're going to hit something. And when your opponent retaliates, especially if it's a melee threat, because the Lord stands back up on a 2-up, even if they kill the Death Shroud after they've just killed something, the Lord's then going to get back up at the end of the phase and then go and charge something else in your turn and kill it. So you're basically going to get at least 2 activations most of the time off this squad, providing you can roll a 2-up. And it just means it's really hard to stop this squad of 250 points, all it is, to get value. And it needs dealing with because you can't allow this unit to walk around. It will kill anything it looks at. Again, it's point, click, and delete. If you can reach it, chances are it's dead outside of really extreme cases, like really, really tough units. Your opponent can't ignore this unit. Yes, they move 5, but as long as they dropped somewhere relatively near an objective, just keep going towards the objective and killing anything in your way. Flame away all the crap infantry, little wrist flamers. Any screens, flame them away. And just get stuck into the big things. It's super powerful. Opponent can't ignore it. And if you can reach it, chances are it's going to die. And let's not also forget, 6-inch deep strike. means your opponent has to constantly be thinking and screening out a 6-inch deep strike. Which means if they ever mess that up and you get somewhere you want to be, you can punish them so hard. And if they push screens out to try and stop the 6-inch deep strike, now you're giving things for the Plague Marines to charge into, to tie up. The Poxwalkers can start charging, pushing your lines forward, pushing Affliction deeper into your opponent's lines. It's just really powerful. And if you're against elite armies like Knights or Custodes, how the hell do they screen out 6 everywhere? They just can't. They've just got to take it. They've just got to know at some point the Death Shroud are going to come down, they're going to get a charge off, and they're going to pretty much smash or at least severely weaken whatever it is they touch. Like, what a brutal reality to just know that your doom approaches. But it is the way it is. So, yeah, if you've not got a lot of Contagion and 3 Death Shroud in your list, just go get it in. Plug and play in any detachment. Jobs are good. Okie dokie, Plague Bombardment. So this is this is almost like the shooting package that can be included in every detachment. And currently, the best shooting package we have is the Lord of Virulence and the Heavy Blight Launcher Bloat Drones. Now, if you want to take this to a next level and have Super Blast powerful, you can also bring Plague Burst Crawlers, Predator Destructors, Defilers. It's all really, really good. And it creates an extremely powerful long-range firebase for you. If you're a Mortarian's Hammer fan, like, this is where you start, basically. But again, this works in other detachments as well. So how does it work? Well, the Lord of Virulence has the rule Blight Bombardment. In the shooting phase, he basically marks a target that you can see, and your entire army can reroll hit rolls of 1, but if it's blast weapons, they can reroll all the hit rolls. This is why the Heavy Blight Launcher drone and stuff like PBCs or even Defilers get extra value out of this because they have blast weapons. Now, this buff is great because it also persists past line of sight. If your opponent was a little bitch and put out a single model of a squad onto the middle objective because they had, I don't know, they had to cleanse it or something, and then they're going to go, they just look at you and they go, oh, the second you shoot, I'll just kill the one guy you can see, then nothing else can shoot me. You go, hell no, boy. You mark it with your Lord of Virulence, and then you shoot a Heavy Blight Launcher drone and kill that dude in the open, and then you go, cool, now eat my 3 Plague Burst Crawlers, which are going to shoot indirect, hitting on force still, but with full rolls to hit, because although he needs the line of sight to use the ability, once he's used it, the ability persists even if he loses line of sight. So you can enjoy your full roll to hit indirect and punish that coward for taking them back. Now let's also talk about those weapon profiles. D6 plus 2 blast, strength 10 AP 2 and 3 damage is no joke for 100 points. That is extremely scary to infantry of all kinds, even elite infantry, sanguinary guard, crapping themselves, inner circle companions, crapping themselves. Hell, even my own Plague Marines and stuff, I don't really want to get shot by this. Like, it's not nice. Terminators, World Eaters, 8-bound. Nobody wants to get shot by these things, especially for 100 points. They're extremely cheap. You can put them in any detachment, float them around with a Lord of Virulence, pick a target, shoot it to death, move on. Now, the Plague Burst Crawlers are a bit more expensive. I wouldn't recommend putting them in every list, but they are surprisingly good. They were very expensive, but when I've played with them, I thought they were overcosted. I still think they are a little bit, but they really do have an impact on a game. Indirect is still an incredibly powerful tool, especially when you give it full rolls to hit. And let's not forget, D6 plus 3 shots, still fairly reliable with blast, so a lot of the times you're going to get at least like 5 shots versus infantry, worst case scenario. Best case, you get 10 quite a lot of the time. And it's going to be strength 10. The AP kind of sucks, but the 2 damage, you can just force saves. And especially when you've got the lethal hits on it, which it has, plus reroll all hits, you can be surprised at how much damage you can put into like little vehicles like rhinos, etc. And again, it really kicks up when you get contagion range on. -1 toughness, -1 save really helps these things deal damage. And let's not forget, they also splash AoE mortal wounds. So if your opponent likes to castle up in that middle ruin, you can really punish that very nicely whilst remaining safe with your indirect. Now, what are the best attachments for this? The Virulent Vectorum, with Overwhelming Generosity, lets you reroll the shot amounts of weapons. Plague Burst Scrolls, Blight Launchers, Defiler, Battle Cannon, all random shot weapons. So being able to reroll that for 1 command point on a very important target for your entire army, whilst also using the character, Lord of Virulence, to mark the target for full reroll all hits. So now you have an army that is rerolling all hit rolls with these blast weapons and rerolling all the shot amounts as well with these weapons. Really, really powerful combination, super reliable damage output. You've got Mortarian's Hammer. Tendril Submissions, now that lone operative, sorry, that Lord of Virulence is lone op. So he doesn't even need a squad. He can stay near the vehicles. Not to mention that, he also gives the vehicles that are giving him lone op reroll ones to wound. Now, you've picked a target, you're rerolling all your hit rolls, and you're rolling ones to wound at strength 10 with -1 toughness and -1 save. And Mortarian's Hammer can also put you contagion on units at range. You just go, you and you are in contagion. Do you know what really likes that? Plague Burst Crawlers. Oh, what's that you've got holding your home objective? 10 cultists? Cool, I'll just put contagion on them so you don't get a save at all, and I'll blast you with the mortars and kill you. Oh, you got Marines, you got 5 intercessors holding home, or 5 infiltrators. Cool, I'll shoot you with mortars. Like, again, take 4 up saves or die. Like, and again, if the mortal wounds go off, boom, bonus damage. Really, really powerful, and it also just allows you to set up the units to deal the maximum damage without having to force a unit like Spawn or Poxwalker to spread contagion. And Taliban Summoners, they also have the ability to bring Great Unclean Ones, which give targets -1 toughness. A lot of these blast weapons are strength 10. Defiler Battle Cannon, strength 10. Heavy Blight Launch Drone, strength 10. Again, all of these love being able to turn stuff down in extra toughness. You know, you turn T11 down to T9, because again, you walk up to them and then you also drop them a toughness down. But even like the small, like toughness 6 infantry or like elite units, you can bring to T5. Now you're winning on 2s with the Blight Launch Drones, etc. It's really, really, really powerful. Now, it starts extremely cheap, this package, which is what makes it so good. It's 390 points for 3 heavy blight launch drones and an LOV. Less than a quarter of your list, you get 4 units, all of which can pack quite a punch. The LOV can pull double duty with some Death Shroud, he's also not bad in melee. The blight launch drones are also separated in the firepower. It's not like you kill one tank and you lose all your firepower like a Rogue or Dawn. This is 300 points between 3 units. So even if you lose one, you've only lost a third of the firepower here. You've still got 2/3 kicking around. It's long range good shooting, which is something Death Guard sorely lacked in the Index. And now, we don't lack it. We have actually good long-range shooting, which is really good. And as I said before, the buffs persist for indirect. So if you kill some guys that you can see off, they try to pull to safety, you can finish them off with something else. And let's not forget the ability we get to bring in more shooting firepower into our list from the likes of Predators and Defilers. You can have incredible AP values. You've brought a Predator and you're shooting some infantry. Cool, make a -1 save contagion. Then the Predator shoots. Now everything else is +1 AP. So those heavy blight launcher blow drones are now AP 4. AP 4! You can then give Defiler to shoot something and give it ignore cover so it can't get cover. Now it's AP 4 ignore cover. AKA 3 up save Marines just don't get a save. It's basically Dev Wounds. You are Dev Wounds at that point. Like, it's so good, and because our damage is spread across multiple units, you're not just bringing one big scary shooting brick. It's all these 100-point vehicles, 140-point vehicle here, 100-point bloat drone over there, 90-point blight hauler over there. It means defensive strats like Armor of Contempt, which only lasts for an activation, just aren't as effective. Like, sure, you can AOC one of the bloat drones. The other 2 aren't going to be. That's going to be a lot of firepower coming and deal a lot of damage. So if you are just looking at your list and you're like, I need to start putting more guns in my list, the easiest place to start is Lord of Virulence, heavy blight launch drones. You don't even need all 3, just get like 2, for example, and then you can supplement it with Predators. You can go Plague Burst Crawler route if you want to, but really, like, Predators are also really still good. You can bring along a Defiler for that ignores cover, stripping that, and you just make this really powerful synergistic fire base, because all of our tanks that are Predator Disruptor, Defiler, and Lord of Virulences are all really good at helping each other deal damage more efficiently. Even the Blight Launch Drone, if it kills something, it can spread Affliction to things nearby. So you could shoot a Blight Launch Drone, kill a unit, spread Affliction to the next target, and then now that has set up something else to shoot into that. Now your Predator's going to get the extra AP, etc. from the -1 save contagion and the -1 toughness. So they just... Our shooting options just synergize together so well. Again, bring Plague Marines in here. The Plague Marines can shoot something and put it in contagion at range. There's so many good shooting options for Death Guard right now. But if you're going to make a list right now and you just want to get some good long-range shooting in there, heavy blight launch drones plus an LOV, really solid package that you're just not going to be upset. And again, it's less than a quarter of your list, so you really can't go wrong with it. You really, really can't go wrong. And if you want to go the whole route with the whole indirect and the PBCs, trust me, it's real funny. Like, Mortarians hammer triple PBC, triple bloat launch drone, Lord of Virulence. Like, have fun. Your opponent's going to cry himself to sleep. And that brings us to the thickest lone operative of them all, the Demon Prince of Nurgle, and what you can do to make this guy an absolute powerhouse on the table. So, We all know the Demon Prince is crazy. He's the toughest lone up in the game. He's toughness 12 with a 2-up save, a 4-up invulnerable, and a 5-up feel no pain. That's incredible. That is extremely incredible. Really tough. He also gets lone up when he's within 3 inches of infantry. What this guy is really good at doing is standing on the primary with lone up on and saying to your opponent, do something about this. But this is where it changes. Because it's not just a case of do something. You don't have the 5 Virulent Pain base, sorry. We'll get to that. It's so baked into my head from playing Virulent Vectorum. He's 12, 2-up, 4-up, invulnerable. Just bear that in mind. Sorry, apologies. But what he's really good at is standing on primary and telling your opponent, you need to do something. And to do something, you either have to charge me, or you have to get within 12 to shoot me. Now, you can supplement this. You can bring Mortarion along. Your opponent walks within 9. You can reactive move the Demon Prince 5 away, which might put him outside of 12, which means now they can't shoot him. So you can bait people in and then go, you aren't shooting me. You can put out the Demon Prince without infantry near him. Your opponent goes, oh, is he lone up? And you go, no, he's not. He's not lone up at the moment because there's no infantry nearby. They then expose all these guns to shoot your Demon Prince, and then you rapid ingress. A deep strike unit somewhere near him. Just anywhere within 3 inches of him, behind a wall. A solo Typhus will do it. 3 Death Shroud will do it, and now suddenly lone up is restored, and all those guns that pointed their little barrels at this guy from over 12 inches away now sit there with their pants around their ankles out in the open, and you get to punish them in your next turn. Fantastic. You, against melee army, you put him on the middle, you say, come on then, deal with me. All you have to do, get a fight first brick of Plague Marines in a wall nearby, and go, cool, when you charge me, I will use my 3 command point that this guy gives out to have that unit of Fight First Plague Marines, Heroic Intervention in, and bash your head in before you even get to swing at me. Cool. And what can you, these are the amount of things you can just put this situation to your opponent. You put this Demon Prince here, you have all these situations going on, and you say to your opponent, do something about it, or I hold primary. And every single time they try and do something, you go, no, I reactive move, get lone up back. I rapid ingress, get lone up back. I can heroic in for free, fight first. It's so hard to deal with this dude, whilst he's also providing amazing support for your army with free stratagems. You can also infiltrate Poxwalkers to pre-plan his movements to make sure he has lone up. You can start with, within 3 inches of the Taliban that's holding your home objective, move and advance and just make sure you have some Poxwalkers waiting upfield to make sure he gets within 3 inches of them so he returns his lone up to him. Really, really, really good for this. And again, your opponent has to do something or they lose primary because you just stand him on a primary and go, cool, I will shoot you off yours, I will harass yours with rhinos and plague marines or spawn and stuff like that, and I will stand here and you have to do something about it. And even if you do decide to do something about it, and again, they get within 12, you don't reactive move, or maybe they catch you on a charge or whatever from long bomb, he's still toughness 12, 2-up save, 4-up invulnerable, and you can supplement this even more in detachments. Virulent Vectorum, the most staple place you're ever going to see this guy. 5-up, feel no pain. On top of that amazing profile, Jesus Christ, what a pain in the ass to kill. And what's that? You didn't kill him? Cool, I'm going to spend a command point and potentially heal him back up to 6 wounds. So he can potentially go from 1 wound back up to 7. And then you've got to burn through all that damage again to try and get him down there. Oh, did you just expose mass damage 2 or mass damage 2 melee? Just charged him? Boop. -1 damage. Now he's 50% damage reduction before he even gets his saves, before he even gets his feel no pains. Again, it's such a nightmare for your opponent to deal with. So just remember, put him somewhere that is holding a primary and just say to your opponent, do something about it. Because chances are, even if they do something about it and do kill him, it's going to cost them more than the 200 points he costs. As long as you punish them super hard for committing to kill him, then you can still get value out of it. And let's talk about Beckoning Blight in Taliban. If you have Beckoning Blight, you now have a lone up guy who has a 12-inch aura of 6-inch deep strike. So he's uninteractable outside of 12 inches for shooting. And he's walking around with an aura that can drop in things like Great Unclean Ones, Plague Bearers, etc. within 6 of your opponent. And this guy is anyone watched Lord of the Rings when the orcs running with a torch at Helm's Deep and they're all trying to shoot him to death? Imagine that, because this guy is carrying the torch that is going to summon 3 Great Unclean Ones, but instead of the elves being able to shoot him with the bow and arrows, they're just going to stare at him and just be like, oh shit, this is happening, because they can't shoot him. deal with it. Again, the whole point of this guy is to just say deal with it, and half the time that's a lot harder to answer than you think. He's also great in the toughness skews that you can bring in that detachment. Toughness 13 great on clean ones. Toughness 13 Rotigus if he stays near a great on clean one. He's toughness 12 himself. Hell, bring Morty along if you want. Go for a crazy, hey, everything in my army is like toughness 12, 13 plus. Like, we want to play Knights in Death Guard? There you go, Knights in Death Guard. Again, just a really fantastic unit. So what makes him so good? As we said, he forces an amazing neutral game. If I sit here on my objective and my home objective with the Demon Prince in the middle, and you sit on your 2 objectives, I win. Because I hold 3, you hold 2. Do something about it. That's the one thing I want to keep repeating. Do something about it. It's a defensive player, which is me. Absolute wet dream. Like, like, come on. Like, again, to be able to say to my opponent, you have to make a move, is exactly what I want to do. And while this is all going on, he's handing out free stratagems. 3 heroic. Make -1 damage, 1 command point in Villain Vectorum. Again, 3 heroic. It's really good. You just set up a melee unit nearby. Heroic in for free. 6-inch deep strike and charge. Oh, you failed it? No, you didn't. There you go, have a free reroll. Like, super, super good. And he also just makes an amazing bully because if you get to a point where your opponent's lost some anti-tank and the ability to kill him, you can just walk around and just go bonking everything. He beats up most infantry in the game. Flat damage 3, 7 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounded on 2s versus infantry. You can go around bash things up pretty easily. Like, okay, you don't really kill vehicles very well, but you have ways to go and punch elite infantry to death and be really hard to deal with, which forces your opponent to commit to him. And again, if you're playing the lone up thing and they commit and don't kill him, then you can just run away to safety inside lone up, kill the thing that threatened him, and now they've basically achieved absolutely nothing, because it's not like they can just finish him off, because again, you've got to get within 12 of him. So you can force massive overcommitments, like they expose 6 units and kill him with 2, but again, as long as you punish the 6 units, you're getting value out of that. And again, he has tricks to bait the opponent. You can rapid ingress restore lone up, you can reactive move out of lone up range to be shot. Tons of things, and that can just punish an opponent for making a single mistake against him. So he is the best lone up in the game, in my opinion, and he's incredibly fun to play with as well. But what are your guys' thoughts? That brings us to the end of this one. What are your auto-take units? Again, these aren't the top 5 best mega Death Guard units ever, because everything's really good at the moment. But these are 5 units I think that can genuinely be taken in almost any list, and you just have a great time with and get great results out of. We have amazing internal ballast at the moment, and I think that attachment-specific combos just have ways to enhance certain units even more, but it's so much choice at the moment, and it's such a great time to play Death Guard. And people who are worried about nerfs, don't worry. We have so much good stuff. There's plenty of pivot room for us. Unless they nerf the entire book into the dirt, we'll be fine. So don't worry, don't get it put off. But yeah, let me know in the comments what your guys' favourite combos and what you're having success with. For now, though, thank you to everyone for watching this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much to the Death Shroud members on the screen right now. These guys are the most dedicated of the dedicated of our members, so they get special shouts out on here. I just want to thank them and the normal members and the Blightlord members, because you guys make me able to do this kind of thing. Which, again, I wish I could do more. I'm sorry, full-time jobs and stuff get in the way. I'd love to make even more content for you guys, but you guys offer so much support, it's unreal. Check out our friends at Vanguard Tactics. Check out our affiliate links for Element Games and Saltire Games. And once again, thank you to absolutely everyone, including you, the viewer, the listener, for watching this video. I hope you picked up a new unit that you're going to go and try out in your next game and have an absolute blast with it. Death Guard is eating good. We're eating good. Go out there and enjoy your army. Just have fun. And for now, everybody, thank you so much. I will catch you all on the next episode. Bye-bye.